The president needs to have actual power to make policy and decisions instead of the military industrial complex and the three-letter agencies and the banks and the media. We have to get the power back, but the world is cyclical, right? And democracy is a great idea that is born from the failure of having a king. You have a king and he's fantastic and he builds a nation and the nation does well. And then he has a son who's not quite as good as the original king, but he does his best. And he has another son. And by then he's a spoiled little brat and he doesn't fucking pay attention. And the whole thing starts to fall apart and people start to riot and say, we don't want a king anymore. We want to choose our own leader. So let's bring a democracy. So they choose their own leader and the democracy comes and they want to prove that having a king is not the right way to go and having a democracy is the correct way to run a country. So they do a fantastic job and they start to build things. And then over time, the democracy degrades just like the empire or just like the royal family degraded. And over time, people start to realize that if they get into a position of power or democracy, that they don't really have to change very much. They can just steal as much as possible. And as the democracy degrades, you end up in the final stages of it where we are now, where most people with a brain would go back to a king. Everything is cyclical. If you were to say right now, do you want to make Trump forever leader? You'd be like, yep, to the end. And who do you want after him? Baron Trump. Yep.
When the oppressed conquer their oppressors, the empire often becomes weaker.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, I think most people with a brain in America right now would allocate the Trump family to forever leaders. We'd say, okay, let's give us a king back for a while until they fuck it up and then we'll go back to a democracy. Everything is cyclical. Nothing lasts forever, right? So we're in the final stages of not only the Western Empire, but we're in the final stages of the idea of democracies now because even the idea, the faith in the democracy has been eroded so heavily. And I guess maybe Trump's job, we're going to have to see what God's job for Trump is. Is it his job to get into power and try and save America and be good for the masculine culture? Or is it his job to lose? So everybody realizes that elections aren't real. We're going to see, but it's win-win either way.